how they could have been looking at Cheetah. Oh my goodness. We're going to have the fastest man in the NFL here on Sunday. Got to find a way to stop bro, All right, back to what David Long said. I say that respectfully too. They have a lot of good dudes, but we really felt like our defense as was good enough to stop them, and today it was. Terry makes some great plays, but it's not like they force it to him or go out of their way to get him the ball so he can be contained. Samuel was nice, but he's a guy that needs to get the ball in open space to really be effective against our defense when everyone is flying around. That's real tough. So I would like to, and John Adams said, this is just awful. Okay. And then James Roundtree says that he was at the game and he saw what he was saying. I mean, hey, it's real. Everybody can see it. Right? So the positive plays came from how extending the play and making something happen off schedule, almost an ad hoc, almost an impromptu, just trying to make something happen here. That quote sounds like EB's plan plays aren't as effective as Sam's creativity when the play breaks down. No surprise there. This is crazy. They broke down the Commanders' offense really simple. I mean, hey, we've been breaking it down really simple on this show. It's like, hey, everybody else can see it. Everybody else knows. And this is where I've actually had conversations with others and said, and I know this might be ridiculous to other people, but I've told you all that the great Rich Taylor, may he rest in peace, told me, that was one of the first pieces of advice he told me. You all have said it. Drop a love button, fire emoji if you've heard me say it. Don't listen to that what they say, watch what they do. So you you can tell me that you watch film. You can tell me that you watch film. But your product speaks differently. Your product says something else. So who do you want me to believe? What you say or what you're doing? Because they're not adding up. It's something else. It's really something else to say, all right, well, I know I've said it. I know other people have said it. And it's like, okay, well, would you watch the film? All right, you're in a position I'm not. But then when you have someone else from another, and others have said it as well. We know that other opposing players have come here and have completely read the offense. They have completely read the defense. We've had those discussions on this show. Right? We had one not too long ago, right? Where they were like, okay, they were just going to stay in man. They weren't going to make any adjustments at all. We were like, oh, okay, they just going to keep doing the same old thing the whole game. A recurring thing. And when you have recurring themes, sometimes you have to figure out, when you have a recurring theme, where are the common denominators? Now, let's share some of Sam Howell's press conference. This too is around 5 minutes. Drop in the chat some of your thoughts on what Sam Howell was saying. Also, would love your thoughts on the fact that Terry McLaurin, only 3 targets, no catches. What's really going on with the game? And if, going back to what linebacker David Long said, and if the strong suit is your run game, what's going on with that? A bit from Sam Howell's after game press conference here.
Yeah, I mean it's been a tough couple of weeks. We got to do things better offensively, and it starts with me. I got to play better football, and we just got to continue and try to get better. Obviously, we're getting towards the end here of the season, but we still got a lot to play for, and we're gonna keep giving it everything we got. But no, it starts with me. I got to play better, and got to kind of try to continue to get everybody involved, and get into more of a rhythm early in games, and not let us not dig ourselves into a hole. But we just got to be better.
And again, you seem to obviously be good, but did you think your offense would be at a different point by this time of the year, regardless of who you were facing?
I mean, I think we've shown, some really good things throughout the season. We've put together some really good performances, but the consistency just hasn't been there. And we just got to find a way to, be better and execute at a higher level and at a more consistent rate. But we definitely have the pieces, definitely have the coaches, definitely have the game plan each and every week. It's just a matter of going out there and doing the things we need to do to get the results.
Sam, you've been able to make a number of plays off schedule the last few weeks, but in terms of just the on-schedule type of stuff, where is that not coming together from projection to your decision-making to receivers? What's falling short there these last couple weeks?
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint, what exactly it is, and I think it's just a combination of a lot of things, and it's kind of just something different every single time. But we just gotta really look at ourselves and really watch the tape and see what we can do to get better and try to fix the issues.
Can you talk about the interception?
Yeah, just had a quick wide receiver screen. Pretty much just trying to catch the ball and get it out as quick as possible. Just kind of unfortunate thing that happened. Guy made a good play. When I'm just catching and throwing so quick, it's kind of hard to see him. Usually, the DN's not in that type of position to make a play on the ball. But yeah, just an unfortunate thing that happened.
And then the scramble for a touchdown. Can you kind of talk about just kind of what's going through your mind during that whole process? And is there a moment where you're like, I need to get down, or are you just kind of selling out for the end zone the entire time?
Yeah, I mean, it was fourth down, so once what I was looking at wasn't really there, I just tried to make a play and obviously extend the drive. And then once I saw kind of what was in front of me, I knew I could score. So I just went ahead and tried to do it.
Terry, 3 targets, no catches. Kind of what happened today, and I guess what went into it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not what we wanted to do coming into the game. Not only Terry, but I feel like we struggled to get all of our guys involved in the game today, and we just gotta be better. Terry's the best player in our offense, and we gotta find ways to get him the football. I gotta find ways to get him the football. Obviously he had a few targets, but 3 targets isn't enough for your best player. So we just gotta try to find more ways to get him involved.
Do you talk to him after a game like that?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a moment yet after this game, but I mean, he knows what I think of him as a player, and that I'm trying to do my job and trying to get him the football. So it's definitely just something that's frustrating, and it's never the plan or intent to not get him involved. So it's just something we got to try to get better at.
I mean, I saw the comment in the chat where it's like, it sounds like the same thing. I mean, yeah, it does. It does, because you really don't know what to say. And if you're just tuning in, you are watching from the Coaching from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders Update. I am your host, CWall. This is a live Bowie television recording. This show is completely dedicated to the Washington Commanders. We've talked through all the things. And if you're just tuning in, you can always watch the show later and catch up later. Hit that love button, like on from YouTube. You can still drop the YouTube link. You can still share with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. We're just talking about all the things, and like we do every week. And I wanted to talk about, because we still got to get through a couple of things that I wanted to share. I had asked a question on my page about who you keeping, who do you want to keep? And so make sure you drop in the chat. If you did not comment on my page, because I did grab some of those responses in terms of which players and or coaches would you like to see still be on the team next season. And I might go there first. Since I'm there, I might go there first. And before we close out, I want to go through where I think things went wrong. And so those are 2 things. One, drop in the chat who you would like to still see be a part of the Washington Commanders team as a player or the coaches. Drop that in the chat, and then also share your thoughts on where you think things went wrong this season, because I have some thoughts on that, and then we will wrap up for the evening. So Going to which players and coaches do you want to see them keep for next season? That was the question, one of the questions of the day. I've been asking a lot of questions, and we'll try to get through those answers through some of the shows and everything. But this is one of the questions that I have asked. So I know James Roundtree, you said coaches, none of them, LOL. And I think you had a comment about a player and players, and it depends on who the GM picks. Jackie Ann Hope says Terry McLaurin. That's what she would still like to see on the team. Sean Covington says he like to see Sam Howell, Eric Bieniemy, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Deron Payne, and Jonathan Allen. That's it. Mazdak says Howell, but I think we should consider a quarterback if there's someone that the new staff loves in the draft. Delonte says not near one of them. So when somebody says not near one of them, they really mean business. When somebody says not near one of them, they really mean business. Theo Alexander says, I'd hate to see Eric Bieniemy go just based on this 1 year shot at the tail end of a struggling staff. I think there has been vast improvement in the offense that just hasn't turned into wins. However, you can see the increased production based on the numbers. We need I'm assuming this is offensive line, and improvements in the core of our defense. Here's the thing, point blank period. Those are your two biggest issues. That was the two biggest issues. The struggles on the offensive line and the defense disappointed. The defense disappointed. Each and every single thing this defense was supposed to be in year 4 of Jack Del Rio and them choosing, daggone near handpicking themselves, everyone they wanted to pay, everyone they wanted to keep, draft, all of that. This was supposed to be their year. It absolutely was not. We remember all the rumors. They only performed well against mediocre to bad quarterbacks, and we actually saw them falter this year to mediocre and bad quarterbacks, or only win if that quarterback was bad that day. Like, point blank period. All things aside, the defense and that struggling offensive line were the two biggest issues this season. Biggest issue. Biggest. Like, it didn't work. Straight up. So let me see some of the comments in the chat. EB, please don't leave. Sam needs you. God tell Josh to turn Rivera loose. I tell people, I said the Commanders fans we need some help, because people over here, they be calling on Jesus and everything else to help get through this. Here's some other Garage Gym Life. Keep Terry, Deron, John Allen, Jeremy Reeves, Armani Rogers, Sam Cosmi, Tressway, and the rookies. All the coaches can go. Bill Knox said fire sale. And I see this comment here. Oh, and Sam Howell. Let's see. I mean, as far as coaches, that decision needs to be made. True, the decision needs to be made. We all know this. Who would you want to see? See, everybody trying to skate the answer. When it's like, just we know whoever's gonna pick, but who would you like to see? Who do you say, okay, who did a decent job? Who did okay? Or who deserves another chance? Sometimes you got to deal with the hand you were dealt. And some of these individuals, that's not their plight. They dealt this hand and they got who they wanted, and it didn't work out. Now, that's what I'm looking at. Now, for anybody else who had to deal with the hand they got dealt, but if you shuffled the cards, if you went and got the pack of cards and you shuffled the deck and you dealt the cards, then I'm not real sure what else everybody's supposed to do. John Thomas says you have to start from scratch. That's rebuild. That's fire sale type of talk. if you ask me. You have to start from scratch. Frank Smith Jr. says, keep Scary Terry, Curtis Samuel, John Allen, Deron Payne, Cam Curl, B. Rob, and Antonio Gibson. Terrence Brooks said, nobody, everyone is expendable. He said he's not keeping nobody. That's rebuild. That's fire sale type of talk. Rise Rice says, Tressway, that's it. That's it. Only keeping the punter. That's it. And that's all. And then I see here in the chat, Masdak also adds to his in saying Jeremy Reeves. So, hey, based on who y'all want to keep, that's a whole team right there. Is anybody going to be left with the practice squad? Are we going to have any practice squad participants? Can any of them stay? Who knows? You all listen. This has been bad. Just flat out, this has been bad. And like Felix Trammell, tell Felix again that I'm talking about him on the show. I posted this. I sat there and I said, I will tell y'all, being transparent. I said, this is a joke. This is a joke. And he said, well, jokes are funny. Jokes are funny. And this isn't funny. And I said, and we did have one comment that said B Rob. We had one comment that came through that said B Rob. This is bad and it's unfortunate, and I feel bad for a lot of reasons, but I have said this before and I'll say it again, and that's why it's like, wow, that this happened in the way that it did. They look so bad out there. I don't think I've seen this team look that bad last season. I don't think I've seen them look that bad as many times as they have looked this current season. And where things went wrong, and you all drop in the chat where you think things went wrong. I know I shared a couple things last week about what I saw in the Giants game and just how I felt about that. But the Buffalo Bills game definitely hit them in the chest. Because they got demolished. That was a rough day. And it was really quiet. It was, that hurt their feelings. The week after that was the Philly game in Philly. They played Philly good. The offense had a strong game that game. The defense did not hold up, in my opinion, their end of the bargain that game. But we saw an offense that was still able to keep pace with a Jalen Hurts offense, which was shocking, but they had a great game. Go back and watch that game. I would say go back and watch that game offensively, and I've been saying it all season. The second half of the Denver Broncos game, week 2. Those two games, those moments are what the team could have been if they ever played a complete game. But the Buffalo Bills definitely was a jab to the chest for them. The Philly game, while they had the Eagles on the ropes in their home territory, took them to overtime. They were disappointed with that. That Chicago Bears loss, that got them. And there are certain moments where there's more conversation that needs to happen other than we'll get them next time or we're on to next week. And there's different levels of accountability at every level. When I know I saw the team work the hardest I have seen them work since I've been on site covering the Commanders, for real. And this is no joke. So to see how this season has played out, I'm like, nah, something else happened. Something else transpired. And this is what I'm gathering in terms of the games, maybe potentially the leadership approaches, the things that were said, the things that weren't said, that they just couldn't get their foot, they just couldn't get it back. Yes, they won in Atlanta, and the guys were really excited about that win. There were a lot of fans that were there, and it made them feel good. A lot of their family members were at that game, but Desmond Ridder had a terrible game. So it wasn't like a really convincing win, but they won nonetheless. W's matter. But I think that Bears game got them. And then the Giants game at MetLife, the Eagles game back at FedEx. And let me tell you something, and I have said this repeatedly, and I'm going to continue to say it. Chase Young and Montez Sweat meant everything to those guys in that locker room. I'm in the locker room. I know this, okay? You can't trade both of those guys and think for 1 second that anyone wholeheartedly believes that you still believe that this team can make the playoffs and win football games. That was forever a challenge. I said they just told the team they're cashing it in and they're preparing for 2024. You told the team through your actions that's what you were doing. That's not what you told them, but you told them that through your actions. So you think about all of the games that I mentioned that they got punched in the mouth. Straight up. All this hard work, all this listen to your coaches, do your job, right? And then you turn around and you trade Montez Sweat and Chase Young, and you think somebody believes you in real life that you're trying to save the season. And I'm going to say this. They absolutely love Ron Rivera. They absolutely love Ron Rivera, but I would be a fool. And I wouldn't be telling the whole truth myself if I didn't say exactly what I just said. And that is, you said one thing, but your actions conveyed another. The great Rich Tandler has always said, you don't listen to what they say, you watch what they do. And you telling me you trying to save this season and you believe that we can keep winning football games this season. You have not given up on this season, and you trade Montez Sweat and you trade Chase Young. And hey, listen, I understand anybody who's here, trade them, get this, and the third. Hey, listen, I told Masdak this when he asked me one day, oh, what do you think about the trades? What do you think about the drafts? I can't say nothing about anything until I see who they pick in the draft and see how they perform on the field. You can give them 15 first rounders. Who's picking them? How they gonna play? That's how I look at it. But I can tell you based on today what those two guys meant to their locker room. What you think was gonna happen? You were already struggling on defense, and then you trade both of them. All right. So this is where we are. And you know me. Love button or fire emoji. If you all know that one thing that I'm always going to do is come here and tell y'all the truth. I'm going to tell you because I'm there. Sitting right in there. And I'm disappointed. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I don't care. It's hard. And it gets harder when you know these people and you know you want to see them do well. And you know how hard they have worked and are working. And it was like everything, it was all right there. then it was gone. Then it was just gone. Just that fast. Motivation, morale. Hey, you can have it one day and it be gone the next. And I think that's what we've witnessed here. I think we've witnessed they love each other. They love their coach. But the words and the actions not matching right now. And it's showing up in the field product. Because those guys were prepared. They were prepared. And it all went left. And we're seeing a team, and then I'm getting ready to close out, and I appreciate y'all so much. We're seeing a team that has gotten worse as the season has gone on. And that is why I had to go back and really think about what we saw on the field, what I may have witnessed, what I was sensing from a game perspective. And in that trade, I think it just was like, what? We're talking about the now. And you can't tell guys that's practicing every day and are spending time away from their families, their children, their loved ones, sacrificing their whole life to win because that's what you said we doing. And then you start making all these kind of moves that are conveying a different story. That's all I'm saying. It's all got to match. The fire is gone. The fire is not, it's not there. It's gone. The morale is low. It's gone. You know, and it's rough. How you gonna tell a D line that's been together? I've heard and said on the show, and we've heard it actually in press conferences. He said that you never wanted to split the D line up, and you did. You got something out of it though, and hey, those guys are doing well, right? But your guys are not. So we just gonna keep watching. I have to keep watching. Okay. And I'm so glad you caught the show live as well. You can always watch it later, but I'm glad you caught it live. Live is fun. Do y'all have fun watching this show live? I had fun doing it live. So I never want to record it and send it. I'm like, no, you can do this live. But at any rate, I gotta still watch. So guess what? You gotta watch it too. It's like, nah, you do what works for y'all. Other housekeeping items before I close. They're on a bye week. We'll have the Thursday DMV Sports Live. We will have that. We will have that for sure. But next week, when they come back from the bye, I'm not doing a show because they'll be from the bye, and I'm actually going to. I may do a show later in the week, but right now, so next week, no show. I will be back after the Rams game. But continue to follow the pages. Continue to follow. Make sure you're keeping up on CWall, but Bowie TV at BCMC, Maryland TV on YouTube. And make sure you're following me on all of the pages. But I will be back with the Washington Commanders update after the Commanders play the Rams. You all, thank you so much for tuning in. I just love talking all of this with you all, and I love getting all of your great feedback as well. Hope you enjoyed the engagement. Listen, you all be safe, be well, and I'll be talking to you guys again